Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's a little bit different today. I'm going to be doing one of my very first true story segments of my channel. So today, as you can probably tell by the title, I've decided that I'm going to discuss hypothyroidism. It's an autoimmune disease, so those of you that may have one of those, there's plenty of them, then you may have some understanding of what that is. The reason I've wanted to do this video for ages, way before I'd even set the channel up, I wanted in some way to do something related to this kind of illness because it was something I was completely unaware of until I was diagnosed with it about 5 years ago. This is just the first part of what I hope to build my community on. So it's lots of different subjects from illnesses, mental health, domestic violence, periods, obviously makeup and fashion and things like that, but just the ability to chat amongst ourselves about things that affect us day to day. I also filmed my haul video for Makeup Today, so I do look relatively similar, but you know what, I was in the mood to film, so that's what I'm going to do. So welcome to my sofa. Obviously going to give you a little bit of background on me. I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism about 5 years ago. At that time I had become quite unwell in myself, and that's kind of what spurred me on to go to the doctor and finally find out what was actually going on. In that time it's like a slow decline, so I put it down to the shifts that I was working at the time. I worked in a restaurant, I was working split shifts till like 3 in the morning. You guys know what it's like if you're out there working in catering or retail, you understand that the hours are long, laborious. So really, to be honest with you, I had a young child at the time, and it was difficult. It was a difficult time. Now that I'm 5 years post-diagnosis, I mean, obviously I'm stable, and I have down days. I have really, really good days, and then I have other down days. I think the giveaway for me is exercise, because I really, really struggle. There are times where I just find it so hard to get through a workout, and I know the minute I get in there, my energy levels just aren't there. They're just completely depleted. I could have had a full night's sleep and gone in the morning, and it's so hard to explain, but the energy level just is not there to be able to complete a full workout, and it's the most frustrating thing because I may be geared up mentally, but my body just does not have the capability to do it. I mean, I still go and I'll still do a general workout, but I get frustrated in myself because I can't go as full force as I would like to. I was also experiencing bloating. I'd put on roughly 2 stone in weight, which anyone that knew me at that time was quite unusual. I've always been quite a petite, small person, so I'd put on quite a bit of weight, become really, really bloated, was struggling with my digestive system, my hair had become really dry, my nails had become really brittle, my spots had got really bad, I was retaining a lot of water. There was just loads of little things that I started to document on my phone. I kept little notes on my phone, and I started to realise that they must have been linked in some way. So obviously I turned to good old Mr. Google. Obviously we all do that. And there came a bunch of horrible stuff, but actually thyroid issues came up quite high in the ranking. And the more that I read about it, the more that I realised that that was definitely me. It was definitely me. That is definitely what is going on. So I went to the doctor with a bunch of evidence and basically said, this is what I think I've got. I think I've got this. Can you please test for it? Now, in the UK, we have the NHS, which is fantastic. However, there are criteria that we have to meet, purely because it's not an endless pot of money and it is a funding issue, and thyroid illnesses go undiagnosed massively in the UK, heavily. A lot of people are either misdiagnosed or not diagnosed at all. So there are a lot of people wandering around that have thyroid conditions that don't realise they have thyroid conditions. That, or they are borderline thyroid condition and therefore they're not going to receive the treatment, the appropriate treatment for that condition. So, I mean, I've done a lot of research over the years on this. I've read, I follow a lot of Instagram accounts, a lot of blogs. I've become really quite obsessive about it. And I've really had to change my lifestyle to combat this illness, because it is something you will have for the rest of your life. You cannot cure it. You will be medicated every day for the rest of your life. So I take tablets every single day. So you really need to understand it fundamentally. There is obviously another side to the illness called hyperthyroidism. So hyperthyroidism, that is the opposite of hypo, which is what I am, which is underactive thyroid. So not overactive, underactive. I mean, out of the two, actually hyper can be a little bit more dangerous in terms of heart palpitations and things like that, raised blood pressure. So actually you can dramatically lose weight quite quickly. So you can become very ill very rapidly with hyper, and I do believe they take that one more seriously in terms of getting you in hospital and treating you quite rapidly because of that. So I am on the other spectrum, hypo. Mine is more the lack of thyroid hormone. And I lack it seriously. When I went to the doctor and they finally actually tested for the illness, they tried to misdiagnose me straight away with IBS, which I knew that is not what it was, but that is essentially what they tried to diagnose me with straight away. And I went back and saw another doctor and said, it's not that, I know it's this, can we please get the blood test done? And eventually, bless her, she did. And her first words to me were, how on earth have you been able to operate this low on this little thyroid hormone? How have you been able to get up in the morning? And I just said, well, I had to. Life goes on. I can't not get up in the morning. I can't not go to work. I can't not be a mom and everything else. So I had no choice. That's how I operated like it, but I knew I was unwell and I needed to do something about it. So she put me on 75 milligrams of levothyroxine straight away, and I've been taking that ever since. I've never had to have a change in medication. Some people, it's a little bit hit and miss, so they'll give you a lower dosage, and if you need a bit more, they will up it, and so forth, so on and so forth. I do get tested every year to make sure that it's working at the right level. But I've been pretty stable throughout that time. It is a silent illness. You can't see it. I don't look unwell. I don't look unwell on a daily basis. I just know how I feel, and I know some days I really struggle to get through the day, and I know I'm having a thyroid dip, and it's not, when people say you're just tired, it isn't just tired, it's absolutely exhausted. It's chronic fatigue. And it's really hard to explain to someone who doesn't have it. So if you are one of those people that suffers with an autoimmune disease like chronic fatigue, or hyperthyroidism, or there are a whole bucket load of them, and usually they come hand in hand too. I'm pretty convinced that I have rheumatoid arthritis, particularly in my legs. I get bone aches, and again, it's really difficult to describe to people what that means. They think that your muscles just hurt, and it's not. The actual bone aches. And that, as crazy as that sounds, there's nothing you can do. You can't massage it. It doesn't feel better from massaging. It just aches, and it's just painful, and you just have to allow it to pass. And I know that it is definitely linked with my thyroid condition. But for me, I just have to manage through getting extremely good sleep patterns. Diet and exercise are massive. I have learnt the hard way. My diet sucked a few years ago. I definitely just thought that I was still 18 and just ate whatever I wanted, and I can't do that. I can't do that. It is the way that it is. I have friends in similar age bracket to me. My sister, there's only 3 years between us. She can eat practically whatever she wants. It drives me mad, but you know what? That's the card that I've been dealt, and it is down to me to look after myself and my body. And at the end of the day, it's part and parcel of issues with the NHS, people who just don't want to take care of themselves. Diabetes is massive in the UK. I keep referring back to the UK because I know some of you are from the US that have been watching, and I can't comment on your systems and stuff like that because I just don't know. But here particularly, it's a massive drain, and actually a lot of it is type 2. A lot of it you are able to control through diet, and people choose not to. So it is down to us to take care of ourselves as well, and I do feel the pressure of that. I mean, obviously, here you do get a medical exemption card. I think there are only 6 or 7 illnesses on there that allow you to get the card. There's not many at all, and hypothyroidism is one of them. I don't think hyper is, it's hypo. So I do have a lifelong prescription of those drugs, and I do feel it is down to me to at least contribute through good health, because I get my medications for free, which is obviously a massive thing. So I guess a little bit of hint and tip section, if you are struggling with thyroid issues or you think that you may have them, I will put a checklist down below in the description box so that you can gauge whether you might be matching a few of those symptoms. As I say, I pretty much self-diagnosed, which I know gets like a slap on the wrist a lot of times for doing that, but I went in with sheets of paper and was like, hey, look, you know, I match these symptoms, I want to be tested. I definitely think there is an element of investigating that a little bit yourself before they're willing to necessarily give you the blood test. It isn't a routine test. They won't routinely test you. You do have to fight your corner a little bit on it. So educate yourself massively, get your head in some books. There are a ton of blogs out there. There are Instagrams dedicated towards thyroid conditions. So please just do a little bit of research if you are interested in that. I also had memory fog, which is another one of the big ones. Basically what lack of thyroid hormone does is it is the single most important hormone in your whole body. It regulates and controls everything, every system. So if you are really low in that hormone, suddenly everything doesn't work. I mean, your digestive system is affected, you know, your bowels are affected, your memory is affected, your brain doesn't function in the same way. I mean, there is gaps in my history from that time where I just cannot remember. I cannot remember anything. I mean, I know that I was sitting exams at the time for my dental nursing qualification, and I just really could not retain information. I really struggled, and I've never struggled before. I've never struggled my way through exams, really. Like, I've always just been able to retain it and just do the best with it, and I really struggled. I was panicking that I would even pass. So I knew that things had changed. Certainly one of the big things for me in the last few years has been keeping on top of my weight. I'm at a healthy weight now. I'm weighing a good weight. My BMI is good. I've been on top of it for roughly about a year. And I honestly put that down to my choice to go vegetarian. So that was a year in January. And I have not struggled for a whole year. I've been exercising roughly 2 or 3 times a week, and it's really helped. And I think that's down to my digestive system. It really struggles to digest meat. It was a environmental based decision as well, and an animal welfare based decision, but definitely the ability to keep going with it has stemmed from the results I have seen in me, and monitoring my fatigue and my energy levels and the ability to keep my weight down. So if that is a concern for you, maybe consider it. It's definitely worked for me. I think you just have to be really intuitive and listen to your body. If something isn't working for you, it's not going to, so listen to yourself. If you need a break, take a break. If you need time off, don't feel guilty about it. I'm a chronic napper. I nap so much. Like, my spirit animal is a sloth. My husband calls me a sloth. This is perfect for this video because this is what I look like on a daily basis. I love a good nap. Sunday is nap time. I schedule naps for a reason because I need them. They're a fundamental way of functioning for me. I can't go through my week without putting in naps somewhere. It just doesn't work. The times that I've really struggled. Now, again, diet is massive, and you really need to relook at your lifestyle in general, and it's about making lifestyle changes. It's not a quick fix. You're going to be living with this illness for the rest of your life, so you really need to come up with ways that you can be at your best and have the most energy for majority of the time. You're going to have days that are crap. I mean, that's just going to happen, but for majority of the time you want to be operating to your absolute best. For me, cutting out caffeine was an absolute. I used to drink a lot of coffee and stuff like that. I just don't touch stuff now unless it's a treat. It has to be a treat. I cannot be drinking that every day. It was just bad for my system. It was bad for my digestive system. I used to get an upset stomach every time I drank it. My body just does not like it. So I cut that out. I hope this has been a little informative for you, particularly if you suffer with this condition or if you are just interested in it, or you have a friend or a family member that suffers. So that's kind of what it's for. It's my very first True Stories session. I hope you've enjoyed it. Next time I hope to have a couple of guests on. As I say, I've got a couple of chats lined up with them to figure out some subject material, but definitely it's going to get a lot more interesting and darker from here. If there are any subjects that you really want me to discuss, either solo or with guests, then please pop them down in the comments below. You will find that I'm one of those people that's made a hell of a lot of mistakes in my time. A lot of mistakes. Like, I'm only 29 and it's fascinating, really. I mean, I've been through the ringer, and that's not for sympathy. I love the fact that that's happened because it's provided me with the ability to help other people and to actually be able to level with other people with what they're going through. Even if it's not directly the same, I've probably been somewhere on that path, so it's so nice to be able to actually help people through that. Throughout my whole life, I've found that I have just been that kind of agony aunt figure. That's just kind of what has happened to me in that time. It's not something that I ever sought out. It's just been bestowed. It's always been bestowed upon me. People have always just come to me. Even if I've not spoke to them for a while, I've had it where friends have just called me out of the blue. You're just out of the blue, not spoke to them for ages, you know, in trouble or worried or got a problem. Can they see me? Can they speak to me? And that's just the kind of agony aunt figure that I've taken. I inherently like to problem solve, and I think that's part of the issue why I've made a lot of mistakes, because I've generally spent my time trying to problem solve other people, which gets you in hot water a lot of the time. And that just comes from being, you know, an empath and being having empathy for others and what they're going through. And if I can lend a hand, then I absolutely will. So I do love it. I do get a kick out of thinking I may have helped somebody in some small way. So for me, this was a natural progression for this channel, I think, and I think it started out as being probably a bit more makeup orientated, but actually the more that I've come up with my ideas of what I want to do on the channel, the more I've realised that this is what it's about. It's about sharing my life experiences, the mistakes that I've made, and absolute no-nos, don't do that, it doesn't work, versus, you know what, I've been here, I've done this, and it was bloody hard, but you can do it too. So I hope my enthusiasm and energy speaks volumes, but I really want to build a community of women, and it is about women for women, but absolutely, if you are men, we're not exclusive. I'm just going to get that in there. You are more than welcome as well, but you may find that some of the subjects are a little bit female orientated. Obviously periods is going to be a massive subject on here. People don't like to talk about it. A lot of the time it's brushed over, and that irritates me. I was going to say a naughty word then, but that irritates me a lot. You know what, it's horrible. It's crap. I don't want to have to lie about it. I don't want us to have to keep it quiet, or, you know what, some days I wake up and I am bleeding from my nether regions, okay? It's not fun. I have to get up in the morning and go to work and care for other people, because that is my job, all day, and be sympathetic and empathetic and caring and give them the love and the attention that they deserve. And that is hard when you are having a bad moment. So it's warts and all, this channel. We're going to talk about things brutally honestly, because that is what my audience is going to expect from me. If you have followed me through from Instagram or basically Facebook, because that is where most of my sort of community lies, really, then you will know I have a habit of being honest. And sure, it's got me in hot water at times, it definitely does, but at the end of the day, people come to me for advice because they know they're going to get the honest truth of it. And I'm not one of those friends that just sits there patting you on the back and going, there, everything will be okay, you're doing the right thing. No, you're not. You're you need to snap out of it. You know, you're making a bunch of mistakes and you need to learn from those. And I am that kind of person. I will tell you the honest truth of it. I'm not going to beat around the bush. And I like to pride myself on the fact that that's why people come to me. They come to me for the honest truth. If they don't want that, there are plenty of other people out there that will tell you, you know, what you want to hear. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate you coming back and watching. I hope it's helped. That's kind of the aim of this True Stories segment. So please come back again. Remember, videos on the 1st of every month, but I am going to be jamming extras in there because I just have far too many ideas to stick to once a month. But yes, for certain, the 1st of every month, please come back. Like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.